So we're going to show you a little behind the scenes of how we come to fruition on a design project or a branding and marketing project. For this company, Brett+Buddies, we did their logo, business cards, and website. Hi everybody, my name is Tina D, and I'm the brand boss and senior designer at Lifeblood Marketing. In the first initial design meeting for the logo development with Brett, he talked about making a cartoon logo design, and I just thought that was quite typical for the industry of moving, and I think, or I guess it falls along the lines of, or into the category of like a mom and pop vibe. So immediately I did what a good innovative designer does, and I thought about why moving companies use cartoon logos for their logo and what they feel that represents. And I wanted to make sure that I emphasize those points when I designed Brett's logo. So yes, he did want a cartoon logo, so that was a stipulation, and I want to make sure that the client is happy. So of course I'm gonna make a cartoon logo. My first feelings as a designer was, I hope I don't have to design one of these corny cartoon logos that other moving companies make for their brands. But then I thought, like, how can I take that idea and make something really unique and special with it? I really wanted there to be an aspect that matched who he was, his age demographic, his vibe. And so I wanted to have an element of cool in there, I guess you could say. So in making this cartoon truck, I wanted to make it look kind of sporty. So I put big tires on there to make it look like, like a souped up truck. And I put like a little gold circle in the inner wheel to represent a gold rim and kind of make it look a little bit like a Pimp My Ride truck, but not too elaborate, but just to make his truck icon stand out and give it that little vibe of young and cool and youthy. When I first noticed about when I looked at Brett's website and his existing branding, well, he didn't really have any in terms of logo or color, but he did have a website up there, and he had a photograph of him and his team. You could tell they were like genuine, hardworking guys, and I was like, I really want to represent that accurately in his new brand. They wake up early, they have a cup of coffee, they've got an amazing work ethic, they work hard, and they're going to come and move your stuff and do it with a smile on their face. I kept a coffee cup for that reason. So when it came to the name, Brett was kind of hesitant in naming it anything after himself, and I could tell it was a bit of a struggle. He didn't want that kind of attention, or for the company to be focused so much on him, or that he was the owner of it. And I told him, I'm like, that is something that you're gonna have to face and that you'll struggle with as the owner, who's somebody who's humble and doesn't want the name to be associated to himself, but thinking about it from a business perspective in terms of how can we get people to remember you and to remember your brand, and even if that means that you are removed from the brand in the future as the company expands, and it still tells about your story and the origin of the company. It started with one dude named Brett, and he got a couple of his buddies. He made a moving company. That's the heart of the business. It's not a corporation. So as soon as I asked them, what does the B&B stand for? Because I was curious. I'm like, why is this called B&B? What does that even mean? He was like, well, I don't really have a meaning for it, but I was thinking maybe it could be Brett+Buddies or Big and Burly. And I was like, these are both really great. But he wasn't convinced, so I did have to say, okay, let me just design your logo and come back to you with some designs and let you think about it, and we'll talk about it and have that conversation next time we meet to look at the logos. B&B is so generic. It could mean anything to any industry, to anyone, to any niche. It doesn't say anything about moving. It doesn't say anything about Brett and his buddies. It says nothing. And it tells me nothing. And if I looked up just B&B and it didn't say moving behind it or junk removal, I would get a plethora of companies and brands and things that are named, and websites that are named B&B, and potentially that have nothing to do with moving, and virtually it would be quite difficult to find this guy online. I was like, we need to really pull out a unique name that people can identify with you and your business. And also, when they search it, you're the only one that comes up because nothing else is called that. We ended up naming it Brett+Buddies. So the first thing we do when we're problem solving how to make somebody an effective website is start with, what are your products and services? What are you trying to sell? What's the most important thing to you? Let's make a hierarchical list of what's the most important that's on the top to the least important on the bottom. And then on your website, we make sure to emphasize the things that we want people to notice. And if you want people to click more for junk removal, and junk removal is on page 3, then let's move junk removal to page 1, and let's put it near the top. If it's not the most important thing, we won't put it at the very top. If moving is the most important thing, then let's put that at the very top. But really just trying to make sense of the business and the sources of income that the business will have and what they are depending on to create financial stability in their company, and make sure that those things are not on the bottom of your page or on the last page of your website that nobody knows how to get to. Ultimately, we had a ton of fun putting the Brett+Buddies website together. We actually got to get some custom photography for the site, which is, I think, a humongous factor in making your website unique to your brand and not using stock photography. And if you can, I haven't actually seen any moving companies that have genuine photography of them moving, them and their team actually moving items or on an actual move or doing junk removal. Everything has been stock photography, which just feels a little bit corporate and disconnected. So I love it when we can get in there and get custom photography of the actual employees and what they actually do on a day-to-day basis on the job. It just feels more authentic, it feels more genuine, and people get to see a little insider about who they really are, and that really brings a customer to trust that company a lot better, because they're like, I actually can see the real you, not the stock photography you. So I don't have to book an appointment with you and cross my fingers and find out what you guys are like when I could actually see what you guys are like. So it was super exciting to be able to get those photos. And literally it was about 20 to 30 minutes, just taking a bunch of snapshots of them moving, and it wasn't like super like phenomenal, top-notch, well planned out photography shoot by any means, but the photography came out really great, and it was really genuine, and it really said a lot about who they were. So we were super happy to get that unique photography to help us put the website together. Our bottom line is that we want to always create a premium experience, and obviously there's different levels and variations of premium, but bottom line, we always want to incorporate something that makes our finished product feel premium on some level. And a way that we do that is finishing off our websites with subtle animations or adding in parallax animations. And so that's something that we did with the illustrative logo and scenery that we made for Brett+Buddies brand. And we added a parallax section at the bottom of the website, and it got a lot of great feedback. A lot of people really loved it for that reason. We always want the client to feel really understood at the end of it, but also feeling really well taken care of, and like their marketing team understands their business and how to represent it well. It's a thing that we love to do at Lifeblood. None of us are average here. I can tell you that. We all have a very strong heart for excellence and making sure that we deliver a great product and service every time. And I don't think any of us would ever feel comfortable delivering any less. So I guess you could say our clients are really lucky. And that's why we say that we deliver that, because we know that even if we didn't want to, we'd always end up just delivering a product of excellence with a premium feeling. So that has become our mantra for those reasons.